So let's take out some time to talk about this, because this is like something I've experienced and a truth that I've learned. And it was very good for me. One thing I learned from God is that he is very undefeated with being someone who can love you and disagree with you at the same time. And y'all already know the climate that we live in, like it just the vibrations that we are around are people that once they start disagreeing with you, they no longer like you. You know what I'm saying? They don't keep that room there to still coexist together. And a lot of people fall out over petty things. And so, back then, I'm one of those people that once you say something or do something I don't like, it was like a one-hitter quitter for me. That was me. But let's be honest. The important thing I learned from God is how to maintain relationships and how to have longevity. You know what I'm saying? My little sister said something to me years ago. She was like, well, how you gonna have a long relationship when you be done after one little thing? But that was a great question. So little sister pointed something out. And sometimes, because you're the big sister, you might not know everything. Sometimes little sister come drop some jewels on you. So I appreciate that. But it stuck with me though. But it also helped with my relationship with God. That's, something he was showing me about being emotionally mature. We talk about healing, but being emotionally mature. So over years, I became emotionally mature, dealing with having disagreements with people. And it is hard to have longevity when everybody's not emotionally mature. So for an example, let's just say if I'm talking to somebody and we had a disagreement, a few moments later, I'm in a good mood and say, hey, you want to get up and go out to eat? They will say, what's wrong with you? We just got into it. Why you want to go hang out? But here's what I learned from God. Our disagreement should not dictate my love for you. You know what I'm saying? Just because we disagree don't mean I don't care about you. So because they never experienced somebody disagreeing with them but still being nice and showing love, they called it bipolar. And I'm just like, no. The important thing that I learned from God is when you truly love somebody and value them, or you consider them a friend, or they are part of your circle, you know what I'm saying? You don't fall out over petty things. That should not dictate, because if it do, that means our foundation not that strong anyway. Or it could just be they're emotionally immature. You see what I'm saying? And so that's something very important. Like, this is a real diamond to drop on somebody about being emotionally mature. And that's things that I learned from God. Because like I said, we do stuff that God don't like, but every day he still show us his love, his mercy, and his grace. And when you care about people, you start extending to them that same thing that God give to you. Glory to God. I'm telling y'all, like I say, man, this walk has been, crazy up and down, but I have learned so much from God. So when I get married, this is something that, I have up under my belt. So, my husband won't have to feel like, oh my God, we got into it. I know she ain't gonna look out for me. When I get home, it's gonna be something. No, it's not. I'm gonna still do the things that I've been doing for you, even when I, wasn't upset. We still supposed to take care of each other. And that's why I say being emotionally mature is a big thing. Not just with healing, just being mature all around. Being grounded. And it's very hard to find people like that. Even if it's not just marriage, even friendships, it's hard to find it, because once you get into it with a person, that's it. They're done with it. And a lot of times, people think that they're healed, but a healed person can take on more, than not. Most people who think that they're healed, they're not. Because they feel like, oh, I can't handle this, I can't handle that. That means that you're still going through the healing. That's just like if you break your arm, of course you can't pick up the stuff that you used to, but when you heal, you can. Just one way to know you are healed or, emotionally mature is that you don't fall out over petty things. Like, it don't take you down. If you're so drained by one, disagreement or misunderstanding, you so drained, and that means you're still exhausted within. There's still healing that needs to be done. You still need to recuperate from whatever it is that you done been through. Because like I say, once you heal and really have been through that process, you're not weak to things like little stones don't bother you. They don't feel like nothing. And I remember before, when I was not emotionally mature or healed, the slightest thing bothers me. I'm frustrated right away. And I say, oh, you the problem. But really the problem was in me, because I'm divided. You know what I'm saying? When little things break you like that, that means you're not healed. You're divided still. Because little pebbles thrown at you, little frustrations, it shouldn't break you down like that. That's a good indication to know you're not healed or emotionally mature. It's like a lot of things I really started practicing that God had taught me about is being slow to anger. You know what I'm saying? Like, dealing with people before, I'm thinking like, should I still be upset about this? Is this petty? Should I, let this go? And one thing I realize is that tomorrow is not promised. So if you know this person may not be here in a few moments or tomorrow, what you upset about, or what you trying to be upset about, is it really worth it? You know what I'm saying? That's another thing I learned from God, is don't take for granted these moments to spend with the people that you care about. All them that, them petty arguments and trying to quarrel with one another, it's just not worth it, man. You know what I'm saying? But we don't see life that way. We think, oh, I'm gonna be mad at you, I'm gonna be petty, I'm gonna hold this grudge, but then they may not be here. Then what? Was it worth it? And a lot of times the enemy trick you up out of your relationships like that, or he trick you out of your moments, those special moments to spend with people. He trick you. And another good example is that Martin episode when Martin and Tommy got into it over the suitcase. They fell out, but then they heard that Tommy had a car wreck. And, Martin was all distraught. He was thinking about everything, their good times and, that being his friend. And even in that moment, God, I was watching that episode some time back, and God was showing me, never take for granted the moments with these people. Because a lot of us fall out over petty things, man. And the devil always want to divide us. He always want to cause some type of division, and it's always over petty things. It's one thing to, separate from somebody who's causing you harm. You know what I'm saying? But we are so weak now that we fall out over petty issues. And I don't like that for us. We got to be better than that, because God loves us even when we're wrong all the time. We need to give that love to one another. You know what I'm saying? And that's something I've really been practicing for some years now, because I want to give that. So what I learned from God is, don't let the enemy trick you out of your connections, because the devil don't want nobody to be happy. He don't want nobody to have unity, not even in homes amongst parents and, and the children, families and, co-workers. He's always causing division amongst the people. And so in my new connections, in my new relationships, I want us to be able to pray when we see that we've been going at it with one another. We need to pray and realize this is the enemy. We can agree to disagree, but then we still want to cherish each other in that moment. And that's the type of time I'm on, like real talk, man. Real talk. Because a lot of times, like a lot of us, we keep going through these cycles of meeting people, then it's over, meeting, then it's over, meeting. We got to figure out how to get on one accord with one another. We got to figure out how we need to become emotionally mature. You know what I'm saying? And really cherishing each other. Like I said, if somebody's causing harm to you, of course, to separate yourself, but just petty things, we got to get on one accord. Come on.